Well, hello all. Today is actually, wow, it's July already. July the 1st. And that was quick. We're still in June, but July the 1st, it is Monday here in Bangkok, Thailand. Sunday night back home in the US of A. It is day 7 of the clinic for me, which will be day 6 of treatments and dosing all these all-star stem cells. So it's been a really interesting journey, to say the least. I am quite familiar with Bangkok, as it's kind of a second home and a place I love to be. But I wouldn't suggest doing this treatment solo unless you really know your way around, but it's still kind of a rigorous routine, a lot happening, and you're not as mobile as you anticipate perhaps. So my knee's still trying to adjust to the stem cells. It's this knee, so I don't know, I'll do a comparison. That kind of has some definition. That just kind of looks like a slab of salami. Spine feels like somebody got in there and had their way with it. And they're going to do it again today. Yeah, I just think it's kind of a cool and informative way to share the journey and hopefully encourage or inspire someone else who's struggling with a traumatic brain injury, to see that there are some options to try, and that the life we mourn of what once was can still return in its own new way. And that's a huge challenge. I think that's a challenge for anybody who's had a serious head injury that's had any duration to it. Certainly for me, going to a brain clinic a year ago last February, and if I stutter a little bit, it's a brain injury, deal with it. So this clinic they look at 24 criteria that they'll treat you with, or symptoms. You need 12 to qualify to get into the clinic. As I say, I like to go big, so I had 23 out of the 24 symptoms, and I was trashed, man. One of the things I really struggled with at the clinic, or as the 2 weeks was culminating, was who am I going to be? I was terrified. The loss of a lot of functions, my cognitive abilities had declined, my eyesight was crap, I literally couldn't read. There was a brief moment after the injury I couldn't speak. Sensitivity to sight, sounds, all this movement, peripheral view, a whole host of maladies. And I go through this treatment, which was fantastic and a great help to me in recovering some of my faculties and my skills I need for day-to-day living. Even helped me put on my pants without leaning against the wall or having to sit down. Of course, they had the zipper in the back of my jeans, but I was terrified of who was going to be left. Was there going to be enough of this intriguing person that I had concocted and thought that I was, and was there going to be enough to survive and thrive in this life in big ways? I've always felt that I'm here to do big things and impact people's lives and protect the vulnerable, which is where I was injured, combating child exploitation with Hope for the Silent Voices. And if all of that somehow in my mind was removed from my existence, what was left? And based on that, was it enough for me to desire to continue? And that was a real inner dialogue that took place. If it happens once, that's too many, but this was several months long wrestling with kind of this loss of identity and who I felt I had built up with all of these skill sets and experiences and ways that I interact with the world or a particular audience. I'm just really blessed because I had a handful of folks really step into my life and provide in ways that I couldn't possibly repay. Rekindled the fire of living and surviving. And eventually, I never felt sorry for myself. I never said, woe is me. I just never did. It was what it was for me. I've lived an active life, a busy life. I've had incredible experiences. No, I wasn't ready to go out yet, crossed my mind, but I was hoping there would be remnants or enough remnants to crawl back in to a life that would be fulfilling and stimulating, and sadly there was probably a tinge that I wanted enough intrigue left that I felt like people would resonate with me, or I would matter, or I'd be cool. But that's all a bunch of bullshit. So it doesn't freaking matter. If I've got breath, God's got a plan for me. So the rest is hogwash and doesn't freaking matter. So that was a great platform to start with. Coming to terms with mourning that past, accepting that that was what it was, but that doesn't mean that the future can't be great. I fully believe that the future can be and will be exactly what it needs to be for the person I am now and at that point. I needed a total overhaul of my attitude, and that was one thing that chronic brain injuries, which I had 10, I'm sure, concussions prior to my TBI last year, that really destroys the brain and its healthy ability to rationalize and see things as they really are and not as fanciful ways that we'd like them to be. So, sorry, it's tough kind of walking down memory lane a little bit, but changing that attitude really was a pivotal moment for me. I reached out to a few folks in my life, and I started, when I could read again, looking into materials and content and listening to podcasts when I could that talked about how to harness the mind and capture our thoughts and purge those negative thoughts as they try to enter into my mind. Because I always said I wasn't a pessimist, I was just a realist. But you know, if you hold on to certain thoughts, they're going to have an effect on you. And that was what was happening with my life over these years of brain trauma from where they came from. So as I began to shed and work hard at purging these negative vibes, slowly I began to get unburdened by the baggage that I'd carried for so long. Now, hey man, I still drag it. It's still attached to my ankle more than I would like it to be, but I think that I'm becoming more equipped at recognizing negative things that don't belong in my life and starting to sever that cord. So I can't tell you still who's going to reside in me down the line. I have great hope in this stem cell therapy. The stem cells in my body now are going to meet another 25 million of their cell buddies through my spine later today. It sounds creepy, and it will be. But hey, that's the hope I profess. I believe in power greater than me that made me with a great purpose, with a future and a hope. And that is what I'm clinging to. So if you are dredging the bottom of the canal, I get it. You'll see my claw marks. Some are fresh, but most are not, fortunately. But it just is what it is. That does not mean the future won't be greater. And I believe that if we have breath, that's the best place to start. So that is it for me today. I covet your prayers and your thoughts as the doctor hopefully doesn't puncture my stomach through my spine with the size of the needle. And have a great day and night around the globe. As always, much love. Thanks.